Hey, let's talk today about the pressure of being a first, specifically as it relates to your earnings, your income, your wealth. That experience of being a first within your family, perhaps within your community, you may be a first to achieve a certain title at work, or you might be the first to get to a certain level of education. You may be the first to earn as much as you're earning. And with that comes immense and intense pressure. No one really talks about that pressure. Well, very few share the sheer weight of being a first and what everyone expects from you as a result. In our wealth journeys, as we accumulate cash, as we earn in ways that we have never earned before, we often end up having to walk that part of the journey without a roadmap, without a blueprint, without a guide, because there's no one within our innate trust circle that can tell us what to expect or give us some idea of how to navigate some of the tricky spots that are part of this new experience. We can easily find ourselves stuck like deer in headlights, frozen, even while our external environment says you are successful, you have arrived, and everything is great. Oh, the line that gets me the most is, you are the realization of the dreams of your ancestors. I'm like, my goodness, what a whole lot of pressure. Let's explore the pressure of being a first at your income bracket and how we can release that pressure. What can be a cure for the financial anxiety that you still feel, even though you're making more money than your ancestors could ever have dreamed of? Hey, everybody. I'm Hadriana Leo, and this is Catalyst Conversations. Welcome to this episode. Let's dive right in. So, your six-figure income really is not doing what you thought it would. You're earning great, and you're still anxious about making financial decisions, not because you don't have the money, but because you're afraid of what a mistake could cost you. So there is that flip side. You have come up through the ranks. You have come through various stages of wealth, and now you're at a place that is completely unfamiliar. You haven't got the tools. You don't have the mentors. You seem to be dealing with this alone. And you are becoming someone that you're really not recognizing to some degree. That first feeling, that experience of being the first can really be intimidating. And the pressure of it all does not easily go away. You see, being a first to, let's say, graduate university with a doctorate, that is a title that's over there. With that comes certain expectations, yes. I find that being a first with making like good money, and I mean good money, that brings a pressure and an expectation beyond words. Not only are you expected to live well, to be well, you're expected to rescue everybody within your circle of influence. You're expected to change the trajectory of your entire family for generations to come. And you're expected to keep doing it without ever taking a break or making a mistake. But here's what no one really seems to understand. When you're new to that high income, when you do not have a circle of support that can guide you in a way that you trust, in a way that is wholesome, and in a way that doesn't seek their own provision, let's call it that. when you're in that spot, no one is telling you that, you now have to deal with managing taxes at a whole other level. You now have to be exploring, all kinds of investment strategies that, what's wrong with a good old high interest savings account? And why can't I just put money into a simple stock portfolio? Now I have to be thinking about ways to dodge the tax man, plan for probate, make sure the kids this and the parents that. No one is explaining to us the complexity that could be part of managing that really great income well. And definitely, no one is asking you, well, Hadriana, what do you want? How would you like to feel? What would you like your experience of wealth to be? Well, without a blueprint, without a guide, it's almost impossible, but it is not. Here's what happens when you have no guide. Here's what happens when you're trying to manage this all by yourself. You develop what I call the cautious accumulator archetype. You start displaying personality traits that put you into a hiding mode. It sets you up to hide away. It sets you up so that no one will ever know that you are making a mistake, that you've made a mistake, or anything like that, because you're not going to do anything. You're going to do nothing. So my cautious accumulator archetype is really the one who says, you know what? I'm going to just hoard all this cash. I'm going to keep it as liquid as possible. I'm not going to do anything that could possibly end in a potential error, mistake, or, maybe lose a few coins here or there, because no one can find out. And the cautious accumulator, unfortunately, sets themselves up to stay hidden and never ask for help. Oh my goodness. I think that it's probably one of the worst things. It's one of the most heartbreaking things that I see, because if not for this fear of failure, we would be able to take bolder steps, dream bigger dreams, and go out there and, I dare say, change the world. The cautious accumulator is really driven by an immense and intense burden of never being found out, to be the person who doesn't know. And when you have to hide the fact that you don't know, you never get to ask the questions that will help you learn and grow. So, what is the alternative? The alternative is building calculated confidence. We need to move away from this fear of, that one wrong move is going to crash everything and I'm going to be, the topic of gossip. People are going to be so disappointed in me. I'll never be able to get past this one wrong move, to being and building calculated confidence. Calculated confidence comes from the understanding that for the things that you don't yet know fully, you take baby steps. As you learn, as you grow, as you become more confident, you can take bigger steps. But it has to start with taking steps. It has to start with asking questions. It has to start with identifying and getting the support that you need. So yes, you may know nothing about real estate investing. You may actually have heard horror stories about real estate investing. And yet you know that real estate is one of the tried and true vehicles for building wealth. You need to start asking people, asking more than one person, not your cousin around the bend who is a good at construction and buys a house. No, you need to start asking actual investors, people who are in the business or people who have explored the business, people who understand the business to share with you, not to sell anything to you, not to put one over on you, but open up and say, hey, I'd love to know a little bit more about, your experience with this. What was it like? What worked for you? Where were the challenges? What are the different approaches you can take? Same thing for stock market investing. Maybe you don't understand what it's the experience of actually putting together a custom portfolio. All you've ever dealt with is that self-directed thing on your bank's platform that no one really taught you how to use. You're just trying something every now and then. That's not how you get the results that actually fit with your earning capacity. So start asking questions. Start an investment simulator game. Maybe become part of an investing club. Start learning and growing. It's time for you to work with a portfolio manager as opposed to just a financial advisor who plunks you into mutual funds that have not been curated for what you want. It's time for you to start building calculated confidence. And how do you do that? I have to say, without a doubt, and I say this often enough, before you get to the results that you want, you must start with clarity. You need to excavate those deep-seated beliefs that have been informing how you manage your money up until this point. Because here's the truth. Your experiences with money have been scarcity. Your experiences with money have been, let's get the cheapest thing we can afford because we need to make the money stretch. There's nothing wrong with being efficient, with being a good steward of the money that you have been blessed with. You've worked hard for it. You've earned it. But here's the thing. You're not there anymore. You don't have to choose between Starbucks and paying a phone bill. That's not where you are. But that same mentality is informing your financial decisions. You really need to excavate like an archaeological project. Understand how you are thinking and what is contributing to that thinking. And then you need to start moving, making intentional decisions about why you're going to be making the decisions you are about your money, why you're going to be choosing this and that. And another thing that I think we really need to excavate is where our sense of identity sits. That's a big one because so many of us, our sense of identity sits in our achievement. That marks our worthiness. And that's such a big problem because if you make a mistake, all of a sudden your identity is no longer secure and you're going to run away from that experience as much as you can. So your sense of identity needs to be disconnected from your capacity to earn or the success or failure of your wealth strategies. Who you are has nothing to do with how your money works, grows, doesn't grow, goes up, goes down, has impact, does not, spent on Bora Bora or not. We need to separate these things so that you are free to experiment and build that calculated confidence. Clarity as part of our care methodology is the mandatory starting point. If you want to experience calculated confidence in the results and strategies that you implement in your wealth, you must start with clarity. You must understand why, when you speak, you sound like your mother. For those of you listening, I just put air quotes on. When you decide to go buy shoes, you're still looking for what's in the sales rack, as opposed to getting the one that you actually love in the color that just keeps calling your name. Why is that? Why are you still using language that says, I'm broke, or I don't have money, or I can't afford this, when the reality is you can. Seek truth in your current situation. Understand the contributors to who you are, how you think, and how you relate to money now, and make intentional decisions to change, to adjust, and to now relate to your money in your current truth, in your current reality. It has nothing to do with whether you're arrogant or you're proud. It's just that you are no longer that person. If you're feeling the weight of being a first in your family, to experience the level of earnings and wealth that you have right now, I invite you to experience the freedom that comes when you can move from a cautious accumulator to becoming a wealth architect. I want you to experience the shared joy of knowing that, yes, the stories and experiences of your ancestors, your parents, your larger family circle, yes, that does influence who you are today, but you are writing your own wealth story. Claim it, embrace it, and look forward to all the wonderful things that this will create for you. I'll also invite you, if you're listening, if you're watching, to take the Catalyst Index. It'll help pinpoint your specific high earner archetype, and it'll help you understand what you need to do if you want to move from a cautious accumulator to becoming a wealth architect. You have the burden of being a first, but you also have the joys of being a first. And I hope that you can make the choice to experience the joys and the freedoms that being a first on this wealth journey can bring you, and impact other lives positively, not just now, but for generations to come. I hope that this episode has been helpful for you. I look forward to your feedback, and be sure to take that Catalyst Index quiz. It's on my website. You can find it in the resources section. Until next time, get out there. Take that calculated confident step, and you tell me how it goes. I look forward to hearing all about it. Until next time, take care.